Alright guys, and welcome to Dragon Age Origins. Game's been out for quite a few years. Not going to do a whole big explanation on it, besides it's an older game. Updated the graphics to the point where I can on this, so this is about as good as it's going to get. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here, and I'll explain as we go. Won't be talking during the little scenes, so everybody can hear it for those of you who have not played the game.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Alright, so let's go ahead and pick which character we're going to be. I am going to be doing a run-through of all of the starts for all the different races and backgrounds that you can possibly do. The biggest difference between all of them is how they start, and they all got their own little story. They're all about an hour long. For everybody that can do mages, they all pretty much end up at the same little area. Elves have their own 2 little backgrounds, dwarves have 2 little backgrounds, and then humans have 1. Choose your gender, and then different classes you want to be. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a regular male, go ahead and do a warrior class, and we're going to do the human nobles. The only other background you can do with humans is if you pick mage, you can go to the mage's tower. I forget what they actually call it, but just gives you a little bit different of a story to start with. Obviously, you can pick, excuse me, a rogue and a warrior, but then you got to pick noble. So yeah, without any further ado, we'll go ahead and jump in here. And for those of you who watched earlier, it does have a very big feel for the Lord of the Rings series. It's not exactly the same, obviously, but it does resemble it quite a bit. Pretty decent game in my personal opinion. It's been a long time since I've played it, so I'm gonna have to be getting back into it as we go through this. So bear with me here when as I fumble through the beginnings to remember how to play, and then we will go ahead and jump in and get some stuff going.
Greetings.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Obviously, you can pick the way your character progresses through attribute points. You got 6 different pieces you can go into, or places to put your points in. The different ones is Constitution, Cunning, Magic, Willpower, Dexterity, Strength. If you're not going to do any sort of magic, you really don't have to worry about Willpower and Magic, obviously. Constitution is your health. Strength is obviously the amount of damage you do. Dexterity obviously increases your odds of doing special attacks, criticals, etc., etc. And Cunning, I forget. Cunning determines how well a character learns and reasons most skills. I forget what this does. We'll learn together. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in here. These are your skill points. It's another little way of just kind of adding extra to the game. You get to pick what you want to do as far as little skills to go into, making traps, talking to people, stealing stuff. Pretty sure this is tracking, if I'm not mistaken. Making potions, poisons, and then combat and tactics. I'm going to try to find out. I forget. Okay. Go ahead and probably cut that little bit out. Skip that. And this. Hit play. We're going to go ahead and set the difficulty to normal. And then as we play, if it's too simple, I'll go ahead and crank it up. And if it's okay, we'll just leave it where it is. So,
generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial Darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True. Though we both had less grey in our hair then. And we fought all legions, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. Hal, you remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad. My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next time. Good. She goes on about your prowess as a warrior. I think you have an admirer, young man.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle. Now, that's what I'd like to hear. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
Not permanently, I fear.
Without their warning of the Darkspawn rising now, half the nation could have been overrun before we'd had a chance to react. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow Wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about. I have not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone? In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me. Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt, spending some last moments with his wife and my grandson. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Okay, so, like I said in the beginning, I will be, being quiet during all the proceeds for everything. There's just to give you guys the full run of the openings. This is not the game, it's kind of the tutorial. It's the tutorial island, so to speak. Pretty much just gives you a little bit of an access to how to play the game, and then a little backstory on yourself and a little bit about the game. So, we'll go ahead and run out the door real quick and start doing little missions. I have played this game, it's been quite a while. Game came out in, I believe, 2005.
Your mother told me the Tyrn had summoned
be
you,
quiet
so
again.
I didn't want to interrupt. Pardon my manners, my lord. It's simply that I've been looking all over the castle for you. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave. Your mother disagrees. She insists you collect the dog, and quickly. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off. That would be wise, before Nan tears down the walls. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we? Just follow the yelling. When Nan's unhappy, she makes sure everyone knows it.
Okay, so where I left off. Game came out in 2005, roughly, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of got that Lord of the Ring-esque feel to the point where the game does have that kind of correlation to it, where there's this big evil called the Darkspawn and their leaders who pretty much just have come to wipe out mankind. And over here, as you can see, we have access to Sir Gilmore. You can switch between characters at any point in time throughout the entire game. Obviously, you have your main character. If your main character dies, then you have to reload from the last save. And then the side characters, not that they aren't important, but they just do different things. They have different attributes, and so on and so forth. As we get more, I'll explain each of them, and we'll kind of just go from there.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves, I swear it.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you. Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down. Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
As you wish.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
Quite an ugly dog, but they are pretty damn good at fighting.
Oh, encourage the hound, why don't you? No wonder he keeps giving Nan fits. He does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
Name a dog Rocco. Okay, so now that we just got a different little animal, we will go ahead and jump over to, where's his inventory? Okay, so this is the dog. Warhounds, they're pretty robust, got a decently high, excuse me, decently high health, and are pretty good at taking damage. It's the first character you get that is your so-called, traveling companion and fighting partner. So we'll go ahead and jump back into the game real quick.
Victory shall fly. Right.
Sorry, gotta get back into the swing of this game real quick.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all. Those were rats from the Kokari Wilds. Best not to tell Nan. She's upset enough as it is. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Okay, so game's kind of old, a little crude. I do apologize to anybody who doesn't really like the graphics. I can't really help it. This is the best we got. So if you like the game, awesome. If not, that's okay too.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
What? Rats? Not the large grey ones.
They'll rip you to shreds, they will!
See, now you've gone and scared the servants. I expect those filthy things are dead. Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin with. Don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then, take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog. Thank you, my lord. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
Alright. So, Let's go ahead and run back over here.
Good evening, my lord.
Off to go find our brother.
And my dear Bryce brought this back from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my younger son. I take it by the presence of that troublesome hound of yours that the situation in the kitchen is handled? You've always had a way with her. Darling, you remember Lady Landra, Ban Lawrence's wife?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon. You're too kind, dear boy. Didn't I spend half the salon shamelessly flirting with you?
Right in front of your family, too.
You remember my son, Dyron. I believe you two sparred in the last tourney.
And you beat me handily, as I recall. It's good to see you again, my lord.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
It is a great honor, my lord. I have heard many wonderful things about you.
Don't look now, Eleanor. But I believe the girl has a crush on your lad.
Lady Landra!
Hush, Landra. You'll turn the poor thing scarlet. Of course, darling. You must have many things to do before Fergus and your father leave.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dyron, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
Good evening, your lordship.
Okay.
Is there really going to be a war, Papa? Will you bring me back a sword?
That sword, Oren. And I'll get you the mightiest one I can find, I promise. I'll be back before you know it.
I wish victory was indeed so certain. My heart is disquiet.
Don't frighten the boy, love. I speak the truth. And here's my little brother to see me off. Now dry your eyes, love, and wish me well. Stay. I'd like to say farewell. Then the Owl's men are delayed. You'd think his men were all walking backwards. Well, I'd better get underway. So many Darkspawn to behead, so little time. Off we go then. I'll see you soon, my love.
I would hope, dear boy, that you plan to wait for us before taking your leave.
Be well, my son. I will pray for your safety every day you are gone.
The Maker sustain and preserve us all. Watch over our sons, husbands and fathers, and bring them safely back to us.
And bring us some ale and wenches while you're at it. For the men, of course.
Fergus, you would say this in front of your mother?
What's a wench? Is that what you pull on to get the bucket out of the well?
A wench is a woman that pours the ale in a tavern, Oren. Or a woman who drinks a lot of ale.
Bryce, Maker's breath. I swear it's like living with a pack of small boys.
I'll miss you, mother dear. You'll take care of her, brother, won't you?
Oh, good. How thrilling to know I'm so well taken care of.
Enough, enough. Pup, you'll want to get an early night. You've much to do tomorrow.
Okay, so sorry for the lack of talking. I just want everybody to be able to see all the beginnings, and then once we get to the Grey Warden area, it'll pretty much all be the same from there, which is where I'll start Let's Play. So just gonna run through these and show you guys the beginning of everything, and then go from there. Plus, I really enjoy this game too, so it's quite a bit different, not as, you know, normal as the games are today. Plus, it's got a lot of good content, a lot of good DLC, and it's pretty cheap if I'm not mistaken too. This is the Dragon Age Origin Ultimate Collector's Edition, so it's got everything downloaded, all the DLCs, so we'll have quite a bit of stuff to go through.
My lord, help me! The castle is under attack!
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into our inventory real quick. Attach all of our good stuff.
Right.
You can loot in this game. Anything with a little shiny objectives or little objects above it, looking like little fairies floating or sparks coming off of it. That's something that you can loot.
Where is the tear? Tell us!
Darling, I heard fighting outside and I feared the worst. Are you hurt? The scream woke me up. There were men in the hall, so I barred the door. Did you see their shields? Those are Hal's men. Why would they attack us? You don't think Hal's men were delayed? On purpose? That bastard. I'll cut his lying throat myself. Have you seen your father? He never came to bed. We must find him. I most certainly will not. I am no Orlesian wallflower. Give me a sword and I'll use it. Now let's go.
Okay, so a little good tip for anybody who hasn't played a game like this. Generally speaking, run through all the little rooms along the map. You'll find a lot of nice, interesting stuff there.
Perhaps we can salvage some things here.
This should be easy enough.
Some of your father's belongings are in that trunk. No! My little Oren! What manner of fiend slaughters innocents? How is not even taking hostages? He means to kill all of us. Oh, poor fuckers. Let's go. I don't want to see this.
Warden senses tingling. As you wish. Right. Come, you can do better than that.
And that!
Okay. And just for future reference, no, there's not this many cutscenes throughout the entire game. This is just the beginning, unfortunately.
Fighting? Hal's men must be everywhere. Don't be foolish. You would throw your life away? The front gates. That's where your father must be. If Hal's men are inside, they must already control the castle. We must use the servants' entry in the larder to escape. Do you hear me? Then let us be swift.
The castle has fallen! I'm getting out of here! Yes, my lord! Here they come! You're dead! How dare you!
Okay, go ahead and get all these guys killed. And down here for all the characters is the different abilities that you get. It's kind of just determined based on what weapon you're using and all that good stuff. So.
On it. Right.
You will be avenged, old sage. I swear it.
Oops. I won't run through everything. Ain't no big deal. Excuse me.
Come and face me if you dare. I do not fear death.
Oh.
I have nothing else to lose. We must stop them. The Cousins will not fall to the likes of you.
Alright, run back down here. Jump in here.
Right.
I will drive you from our land myself.
This is like a bad story.
There we go.
Killing rats! How noble! Go, man the gates. Keep those bastards out as long as you can. Your ladyship, my lord, you're both alive. I was certain Hal's men had gotten through.
And you don't have to worry about killing anybody in any of the intros. The people that die in this are meant to die. Everybody else that's supposed to be there will be there. Like I said, really the beginning of the game starts when you get to the initial camp. The rest of it's all backstory and just learning the rest of the game. So these videos are really just for people who are interested in the game and want to see what each style of playing has to offer, and then choose which one you want to go with.
They killed Oriana and Oren. I can't believe. Are you injured?
Don't worry about me, ladyship. Thank the Maker you two are unharmed. When I realized what was happening, it was all I could do to shut the gates. But they won't keep Hal's men out long. If you've another way out of the castle, use it quickly. When I last saw the Turn, he'd been badly wounded. I urged him not to go, but he was determined to find you. He went towards the kitchen. I believe he thought to find you at the servants' exit in the larder.
Bless you, Sir Gilmore. Make her watch over you.
Make her watch over us all.
Right. As you wish.
make this quick, shall we? Let's get some. I need healing. A little frantic? I can see why. Show me what you got.
I think you can die in this. Oh, wow. Well, that's a first. Oh my goodness. Well then. Apparently you can die in this. I never knew that.
I sense something drawing near. I'm gonna wreck you a new one. You'll bleed for this. Get out! I'm gonna wreck you a new one.
We will not be defeated! Come! Together we shall leave this place.
Alright. Well. Guess we'll just bring these guys down here and play it smart. Come on. Oh, do we have the guard and everybody else? Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, no. Not that guy. Oh.
Show me what you got. On your guard.
We will not be defeated.
You're mine.
Alright, well that went a little better. A lot better.
Have mercy on your souls.
Let's get started. On it. As you wish.
Have to get used to controls still. It's a little weird for me. It's been quite a while since I've played this game.
There, you both are. I was
Bryce.
wondering when we would get here.
Baker's blood, what's happening? You're bleeding.
Hal's men found me first. Almost did me in right there. He can't get away with this. The king will...
Bryce, we must get you out of here.
I won't survive the standing, I think. My boy. Only Will can make it so.
Once Hal's men break through the gate, they will find us. We must go.
Someone must reach Fergus. Tell him what has happened. Yes. Vengeance.
Bryce, no. The passage is right here. We can flee together, find you healing magic.
The castle is surrounded. I cannot make it.
I'm afraid the turn is correct. Hal's men have not yet discovered this exit, but they surround the castle. Getting past will be difficult.
You are Duncan, the Grey Warden?
Yes, Your Ladyship. The turn and I tried to reach you sooner.
My youngest son helped me get here. May could be praised.
I am not surprised.
Whatever is to be done now, it must be quick. They are coming.
Duncan, you are under no obligation to me. But I beg you, take my wife and son to safety.
I will, Your Lordship. But I fear I must ask for something in return.
Anything.
What is happening here pales in comparison to the evil now loose in this world. I came to your castle seeking a recruit. The Darkspawn threat demands that I leave.
I understand.
You fought your way to me through Howe's men. I think the Maker's intention is clear. I will take the Tyrna and your son to Ostigard to tell Fergus and the king what happened. Then, your son joins the Grey Wardens.
So long as justice comes down. I agree.
When I offer you a place within the Grey Wardens, fight with us. We must leave quickly then.
Bryce, are you sure?
Our son will not die of Howe's treachery. He will live and make his mark on the world.
Darling, go with Duncan. You have a better chance to escape without me.
Eleanor.
Hush, Bryce. I'll kill every bastard that comes through that door to buy them time. But I won't abandon you. My place is with your father. At his side to death and beyond.
I'm just so sorry it's come to this, man.
We had a good life and did all we could. It's up to our children now.
Then go, Puck. Born brother. Know that we love you both. You do us proud.
They've broken through the gates. We must go now.
Goodbye, darling.
That's sad. Lose both your parents.
We will be traveling south through the hinterlands to the ruin of Ostagar, on the edges of the Korcari Wilds. The Tevinter Imperium built Ostagar long ago to prevent the Wilders from invading the northern lowlands. It's fitting we make our stand here, even if we face a different foe within that forest. The King's forces have clashed with the Darkspawn several times, but here is where the bulk of the Horde will show itself. There are only a few Grey Wardens within Ferelden at the moment, but all of us are here. This blight must be stopped, here and now. If it spreads to the north, Ferelden will fall.
Ho there, Duncan.
King Cailan. I didn't expect
a royal welcome? I was beginning to worry you'd miss all the fun.
Not if I could help it, Your Majesty.
Then I'll have the mighty Duncan at my side in battle after all. Glorious. The other wardens told me you'd found a promising recruit. I take it this is he?
Allow me to introduce you, Your Majesty.
No need, Duncan. You are Bryce's youngest, are you not? I don't think we've ever actually met. Dead? What do you mean? Duncan, do you know anything about this?
Terran Cousland and his wife are dead, Your Majesty. Arl Howe has shown himself a traitor and overtaken High Ever Castle. Had we not escaped, he would have killed us and told you any story he wished.
I can scarcely believe it. Well, how could he think he could get away with such treachery? As soon as we are done here, I will turn my army north and bring Howe to justice. You have my word. No doubt you wish to see your brother. Unfortunately, he and his men are scouting in the wilds. Not until the battle is over, I fear. Until then, we cannot even send word. I apologize, but there's nothing more I can do. All I can suggest is that you vent your grief against the Darkspawn for the time being. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I should return to my tent. Loghain waits eagerly to bore me with his strategies.
Your uncle sends his greetings and reminds you that Redcliffe forces could be here in less than a week.
Ha! Eamon just wants in on the glory. We've won 3 battles against these monsters, and tomorrow should be no different. I'm not even sure this is a true blight. There are plenty of Darkspawn on the field, but alas, we've seen no sign of an archdemon.
Disappointed, Your Majesty?
I'd hoped for a war like in the tales. A king riding with the fabled Grey Wardens against a tainted god. But I suppose this will have to do. I must go before Loghain sends out a search party. Farewell, Grey Wardens.
What the king said is true. They've won several battles against the Darkspawn here. Despite the victories so far, the Darkspawn horde grows larger with each passing day. By now, they look to outnumber us. I know there is an archdemon behind this, but I cannot ask the king to act solely on my feeling. Yes, we should proceed with the ritual. Feel free to explore the camp here as you wish.